Since at least the 1940s, the Chinese Communist Party has threatened to annex Taiwan. Analysts, government officials, and investors are now becoming more concerned that it might actually happen over the coming years, possibly starting a conflict with the United States. Following U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taipei, China began conducting its largest ever military exercises, raising tensions in the Taiwan Strait. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll talk about when the SEC lawsuit against XRP will end. So stay until the end of the video to learn it all. In reaction to U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, China has begun its largest ever military exercises in the area, deploying dozens of fighter jets and vessels, as well as firing ballistic missiles. Beijing referred to Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, which it regards as Chinese territory, as an irresponsible provocation by the United States towards China. The ongoing military exercises, which started earlier this month and will go for a few days, are supposed to show how determined it is to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity, the statement claimed. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, issued a warning that the situation could lead to miscalculation, serious confrontation, open conflicts, and unpredictable consequences among major powers as a result of the exercises, which have heightened tensions in the region. Japan claimed that several missiles fired by Chinese forces landed in its exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Meanwhile, late on Thursday, Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen urged the world to stop China's unilateral and unreasonable military moves in a statement. She added that Taiwan would steadfastly protect its sovereignty and national security without inciting war. China views U.S. activity in the Indo-Pacific as disrupting the region's stability and tranquility. However, the ship's passage across the Taiwan Strait shows the United States' commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific, according to a statement from 7th Fleet spokesperson Nicholas Lingo. What exactly is this geopolitical conflict between Taiwan and the United States about? As tensions arise, here are the answers to some key questions. Understanding the Taiwan issue in the light of history. When the nationalist forces were defeated in 1949, the Chinese Civil War, which had long been characterized as a conflict between communists and nationalists, ended. The vanquished nationalists, commanded by the youthful commander Chiang Kai-shek, marched to an island south of China and established their seat of government, what is now known as Taiwan, while the victorious communists, led by Mao Zedong, began to rule from mainland China. Since then, Taiwan, which now refers to itself as the Republic of China, ROC, has been run separately from the mainland. Also known as the People's Republic of China, PRC. Even though the two administrations started to refer to themselves as China, PRC, and ROC, respectively, there was confusion as a result. Beijing emphasized that Taiwan is a part of the One China, and that there is only one China in a diplomatic statement meant to end the uncertainty. It considers the PRC to be the sole legal representative of China, and any nation that wishes to establish cordial relationships with Beijing should sever all diplomatic connections with Taiwan. For instance, the United States closed its embassy in Taiwan after the Carter administration acknowledged this particular Chinese premise in 1979. The One China rule has a purpose as well. Taiwan will be integrated or united into mainland China by 2049, the 100th anniversary of the Communist Revolution. Beijing views Taiwan as a separatist province that will eventually be reconciled. How concerning are the military exercises in China? According to Chinese official media, live-fire sea and air drills are occurring in 6 zones all around Taiwan, which is located 180 kilometers, 112 miles, off the coast of China. According to CCTV, they involve more than 100 aircraft, including bombers, fighter jets, and 10 vessels. Taiwan has denounced the exercises, claiming that some of them constitute an air and sea blockade of the island and violate Taiwan's territorial waters. Chinese rocket troops launched 4 ballistic missiles into the waters around Taiwan on the opening day of the drills, a first since 1996. According to Taiwan's defense ministry, Dongfeng ballistic missiles were among the 11 fired. Japan has raised stern diplomatic protests over the landing of at least 5 missiles in its EZ, which extends 200 nautical miles, 370 kilometers or 230 miles, from the outer borders of its territorial seas, along with advising ships and aircraft to take alternate routes. Taiwanese authorities on Thursday canceled hundreds of flights at the Taiwan airport in the nation's capital, Taipei. According to local media, services from South Korea's Korean Air and Asiana Airlines to Taiwan were also halted for 1 or 2 days because of the exercises. Could China invade Taiwan? How challenging would that be? Questions over whether Beijing intends to invade Taiwan have returned in response to China's extraordinary military exercises, especially after the state-run tabloid Global Times published expert comments describing the drills as a practice for reunification. It reported Chinese mainland military analyst Song Jianping as saying, "In the event of a future military conflict, it is likely that the operational plans currently being practiced will be directly transferred into combat operations." Despite the hyperbole, most experts agree that at least in the short term, neither China nor the U.S. wants conflict in Taiwan. Bonnie Glaser, head of the Asia program at the U.S. German Marshall Fund, said China is attempting to caution the U.S. and Taiwan against taking additional measures that challenge Chinese red lines. They are showing off their military prowess to enforce a blockade on Taiwan. However, President Tsai Ing-wen does not desire war with the U.S. According to her, he has not decided to attack Taiwan. However, even if China, which has the strongest fighting force in the world and has quickly modernized its military, wanted to annex Taiwan, doing so would be dangerous. Observers claim that its forces would need to cross the Taiwan Strait with more than 100,000 soldiers while being subjected to aircraft and naval bombardment. If the soldiers were to reach Taiwan's coasts, it would be challenging for them to land because the island's rocky shoreline has few places that are appropriate for unloading armored personnel carriers, tanks, and artillery. A possible outcome of an invasion may also be a more serious battle between China and the U.S. Despite the fact that it does not recognize the island as a separate state, the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979 mandates that the U.S. assist Taiwan in self-defense. In May, U.S. President Joe Biden stated that if China attacked Taiwan, Washington would retaliate violently. Biden has framed U.S. support for Taiwan in terms of ideals, such as the defense of democracy against despotism, but many experts point out that Washington also views the island as strategically significant. This is due to its inclusion in the first island chain of defense against PRC assault, according to June Teufel-Dreyer, a political science professor at the University of Miami. Taking over Taiwan would give you access to a key port in Kaohsiung and a gateway to the Blue Pacific and Guam, a U.S. territory halfway between Hawaii and Hawaii, she told Al Jazeera. Chinese military strategists have referred to Taiwan as the buckle in the chain that keeps the PLA bottled up behind the first island chain, she said. What irks China about Pelosi's visit, exactly? Although it has never ruled Taiwan, the People's Republic of China, PRC, as the administration in Beijing is officially known, regards the 23 million-person island as a part of its own territory. The Chinese government vehemently rejects any official interactions between Taipei and Washington and has referred to Pelosi's visit as a provocation and an infringement on its sovereignty. Pelosi is a long-standing China hawk. Her visit also comes at a delicate moment, only weeks before the 20th Congress of the Communist Party, when President Tsai Ing-wen is rumored to be laying the basis for an unprecedented third term. In a recent phone conversation with Biden, Xi forcefully opposed Taiwanese independence and involvement from outside forces and cautioned the U.S. president against playing with fire over Taiwan. According to analysts, the trip is expected to exacerbate already tense relations between Beijing and Washington and heighten tensions across the Taiwan Strait. What effects will China's invasion of Taiwan have? The era of U.S. supremacy in the area should come to an end with a potential Chinese invasion of Taiwan. According to Kenneth Waltz, a 20th-century international relations theorist, it will likely result in a new distribution of capacities in the area. The Ukrainian crisis, currently puts America's global leadership and capacity to influence global events. In the near future, Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific region may prove to be yet another challenge to the U.S. leadership, even though the world is currently obsessed with the ongoing Ukrainian crisis. American politician and Wisconsin's U.S. Representative Mike Gallagher wisely observed that failing to support Democratic allies when an authoritarian adversary threatens them would lead to the end of the United States' superpower status and the corresponding guarantees of prosperity, freedom, and human rights that have come with it. With that, we've come to an end. See you in the next one.